Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Fandalorian Club. I'm going to be your host today. I'm Brian, and I am here with my different crew today. No Jake, but, we got something maybe even a little bit better. We got Gio. And then we are here with Jacob as well. How's it going?
Pretty good, man. Why am I the only one with the Star Wars name? Come on, guys.
Oh, you know what? I forget that every single week.
Grey Goose Jedi. Come on.
I know.
Yeah, that's my current Twitter handle.
Here. There.
Welcome to the Fandalorian Club, Gio.
Yeah. Since Jake's not here being the Whiskey Jedi, I will be the Tequila Sith. Funny enough, the reason I sound and look so different is because I am currently in Jake's home taking care of his dog. While
I was going to say, it's not your normal background.
Nope.
So what's going on? But now it all makes sense. Jake's out of town, that's why he's not on the show. And you're dog / house sitting.
And I'm puppy sitting, ironically, while they go get a new puppy. So, yes. And I'm by his bar, but, my initials are BA, so I cut off the R. So now it just looks like
like it's your background. There you go.
Yeah. So we are here to discuss the 4th episode in the Bad Batch series. Gio, you are new to this and kind of, I guess, Bad Batch because you've watched it all within the last 24 hours, right?
Yeah. I saw the first 3 episodes last night, and of course the 4th one premiered today, and so I just caught it, and I'm surprisingly liking it more than I did the Clone Wars. I think it's because it focuses a lot on these group of misfits, and I love how they I love the camaraderie among them. I'm sorry I butchered that word, but and especially how they are looked upon by the other clones. I mean, that first episode was just an absolute highlight because it tied so much into my favorite Star Wars movie, which obviously isn't the best one, but for me, Revenge of the Sith is always one that's going to be, hold a special place in my heart.
For a half second, I got scared and I thought you were about to say Attack of the Clones. It's your favorite.
No. And you know what? As much as people, diss Attack of the Clones, that third act from the moment the Jedi show up on Coruscant, maybe even before that, when the Jedi are improvising and using their, special abilities and then they get their lightsabers, that whole third act is incredible.
Yeah,
I think it's the middle part that a lot of people have a problem with.
Oh, so. I agree with you, Gio. Like I could just start the movie from that point and enjoy it and enjoy the rest of it. But I agree with you too that Revenge of the Sith is up there for me. Not number 1, but it's in the top 5 for sure.
Yeah. So you're liking it so far?
Yeah. Especially the crosshair. Or what the crosshair?
Crosshair, yeah.
Yep.
Crosshair, his character, I mean, he from early on, you get a sense that he's the one that really doesn't play around. He's by the book, and you can blame a little bit on that. His inhibitor chip is still a little bit functional, to an extent. I kind of got that hint. They didn't say that, but that's how I took it. And then, of course, what they did to him at the end, it was just like, oh man, right. Yeah. And you're starting to see little hints that even though the inhibitor chip is turned up to level 1,000, he's still when he sees the markings on the wall or the new squad, the replacements take his former comrades, beds or, where they sleep. He's just it kind of doesn't, go right with him. So
I have a theory with
I'm digging the show.
That Gio, you just reminded me of is that when they're escaping, it's at the end of episode 1, right? When they're escaping and Crosshair's shooting at them and then they get away. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, I think Crosshairs could have killed them if he wanted to. I think he was purposely missing. I don't think he wanted to let them get away, but I think he didn't want to kill them.
Or he was taking
that's a little bit of
think about it.
Part of him that's still left because as far as we know, he's one of the best marksmen in all of Star Wars, right? And do you think he would have missed that close? No way. So
probably not.
that's my theory, is that he's like, even if it's 5% of him is still fighting it and holding on,
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it's a stressful situation. You're seeing your friends; they were your friends 5 minutes ago, and now you're shooting at them. He's still probably processing a lot of things, even though his inhibitor chip is telling him, "Kill these guys."
Yeah,
it's that internal conflict that I appreciate.
Yeah. So, like we said, this is the 4th episode. I'm glad you're enjoying it, by the way. So we are into the 4th episode. We still see the Bad Batch kind of like finding their way. Like they don't really know what they can and can't do, but we do know that they are low on rations and fuel, which makes sense, right? So they decide that they need to stop on a planet where chaos quickly follows them. So anyone want to, we don't need to go in order because this kind of has like a one straight storyline. So anyone have anything they want to?
Well, I want to ask you, Gio. So as far as I think Jake, Ryan, and I agree with this, episode 1 just like blew us away, like amazing. And then it turned into, okay, these little missions that they're doing kind of, and that's like to be expected. They kind of always do that with these animated shows. And then I don't want to say that they're filler, but obviously these episodes, including this one, are not as exciting as the first one. So that's kind of how I feel. Would you say you agree with that, Gio?
Yeah, to an extent. Now this is going to be what, 18 episodes, 15 episodes, 12,
16, I believe.
16.
A lot,
so it's going to be a slow burner, but you're going to have moments that are definitely going to, make it the Bad Batch, like why this show. I mean, nobody's faith in Dave Filoni is shaken by, the filler episodes or whatnot. He clearly has a story that wants to be told.
Yeah.
And apparently, I didn't know this. Apparently, the bounty hunter lady, the female bounty hunter,
Shan, yep.
Did you just know to figure that out?
She's a recurring character, right? She's appeared before.
She's from the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
She's Boba Fett's
that's her?
Yep.
Yeah.
Fennec Shan.
Oh, wow.
So I think that's the biggest thing to talk about in this episode.
Of course.
Prior to seeing this, I didn't know she was gonna appear. Did you, Brian?
Yeah, because she's in the
trailers.
She's in our.
Oh, okay. So I didn't catch that. So pleasant surprise to me to see her. I knew it was her right away with the mask. I think that's so cool. And it's is it Ming Na or
Ming Na Wen?
Ming Na Wen. Yeah, she's voicing the character as well.
It's such a smart play. Such a smart play to connect and give us more in-depth story to a character that we're seeing in live. And this is the first character in a while that we're seeing, well, actually maybe not. I was going to say that we're seeing play out at the same time, but they're kind of slowly doing that a lot more with Ahsoka and actually, I guess it's just Ahsoka kind of, but either way, I love that we're getting a live action and the animated of a new character that we've never met, who's clearly going to have some story going forward because we saw at the end of Mando, she's sitting next to Boba Fett on the throne. So, yeah, I can't believe you both didn't know this until.
Well, I completely missed that. I was like, when I was watching the episode, I'm like, man, there's something about this character that I like. I know she's not a throwaway character. There's got to be something more to her. And then just before we started, I see a headline that says this character returns, and it's kind of dividing how the fandom feels about her character, where the loyalties lie. Because you do see that she does have some good in her. She's not completely evil. She tells the little girl when she, falls, make sure you tuck and roll. And it's just like, that's not something that you tell somebody who's just.
She wants to bring her in alive.
Yeah, I think the bounty's probably alive.
But still, yeah.
And plus, there's still 30 plus years that something bad could happen to her and she could just become ruthless. So, I mean, I thought she was actually still kind of pretty ruthless regardless.
So I think Gio's saying Gio, you're saying like people are upset that she's like trying to catch this kid and she's bad, but they expect her to be good because of Mandalorian.
I don't know. I just saw the headline and I was just like, oh, that's interesting. Like literally right before we started.
Yeah. As soon as I saw her, I knew who she was. I just didn't know she was going to appear in this episode, which was great because look, if we want to say, okay, not much happened in this episode, at least give us a cool, cameo or have a character that we care about and know appear here and play an important part. She's not just there for no reason. It all plays into the story. She's Omega has a bounty out. And I've seen theories that, look, this is the theory of her being force sensitive has not gone away. A lot of people still believe that. I personally don't, and I personally don't want that. But the theory is, Gio, that they purposely created a force sensitive clone. Like that's what they were attempting to do. That's a theory. I don't buy into it, but it's still out there, and that's why she's so valuable and why she has bounties on her head.
Yeah, I don't know if I really want them to go that route where all of a sudden they're able to create force sensitive.
That's what I was just about to say. I don't think that they would say that they purposely tried to create a force person. And I think that's what you're saying too, Gio, right?
Yeah. I mean, it just kind of takes away from the whole like mystery surrounding the force. You go back to the prequels when everybody seemed to have a problem with the midichlorians talk and all that and how George Lucas tried to explain it. They're like, no, not everything needs to be explained and have a Merriam-Webster definition below it. It's just let some of it be sci-fi fantasy, just like, I mean, maybe not to the extent where in Force Awakens or, in the sequel trilogy, they're like, oh, the Force, you could do all this with the Force. Like maybe not to that extent. You got to have balance. It's easier said than done. So,
well, we know somebody succeeded eventually because they created Snoke, because Palpatine created Snoke, who was Force sensitive. Somebody eventually succeeded at it.
Well, they didn't. Oh yeah,
I get reminded me of that.
Yeah,
which whether we like that or not is up for debate.
Yeah, but for me, I don't think. I think Omega was a happy accident type situation. If she is force
sensitive, that's how I'd want it to be. That in her conception somehow, and them cloning her, just like a newborn baby, she was born with the Force.
Yeah,
which that would be the best way.
Are your newborn babies born with the Force? Because mine. I don't think are, but no. So Fennec Shand has come to take Omega for who we don't know why. I mean, we just possibly said out there, but who do you think put the bounty on her?
Well, she would work for anybody, right? Maybe. So in Mandalorian season 1, she's after Mando and the child, right? And then Mando takes her out.
Yeah.
So maybe it's the same person. And if Omega is force sensitive, that makes sense because they wanted Grogu, and then back here they wanted Omega. And what is it like? It's not that far from each other, the timelines, right? It's like.
Of what?
Because this is right after Revenge of the Sith, and Mandalorian's like 6-7 years after.
No, Mandalorian's after Return of the Jedi.
Oh, duh! Damn, that's
wow. It's like 30 years at least.
Wow, I did not think about that.
Fennec's probably as
19, 20.
Yeah, as young as maybe like 18, 19, 20.
Maybe 17. Younger than that, yeah.
So, I mean, you put
that's pretty cool.
30 years on a 20-year-old, that's about kind of probably the age that she is in Mando. So,
but to Jacob's point, I think, to kind of answer the question, I can see where you're going with that. I felt like it was the Camino people, the
Kaminoans,
Lamasu, I think was the name.
I could see that. That probably makes the most sense.
They want her back. They don't entirely trust the Empire, because
that could explain why she wasn't willing to let her die. It's a bring her in alive or you don't get paid.
And they were talking about Omega being the 5th defect clone, I guess you could,
or enhanced clone.
Enhanced clone, yes.
Yeah.
And that's their investment. That's arguably what's keeping them from being obsolete from the new empire. So
yeah, I'm with you, Gio.
I'm trying to pay attention. So
yeah, no, I'm with you. I think it's the Kaminoans hired her because to me at this point, Tarkin doesn't really know about her. She was just kind of like at the side of Lama Su while he was there, but they never interacted. He never asked about her or anything. And
I think Tarkin, because if you notice back in and this is fresh in my mind, like he looks at her, but then I think he looks at her again. And he's probably not thinking much of it, but I'm sure with a guy like Tarkin, he's probably in the back of his mind going like, there's something about that girl. It's not exactly priority number 2 on the list. He has things he's trying to accomplish in this new empire, but I'm sure like that won't be the last that, we've gotten hints that Tarkin now wants to know what's up with the girl, at least in my opinion. So.
Oh yeah, no. Tarkin's going to be a lingering threat throughout this whole entire thing. Because, I mean, he's, for a lack of better terms, he is the bad guy in A New Hope. Like, so it kind of gives him more story before A New Hope. So, and plus, I mean, let's be honest, he's pretty much the one that's probably putting the Empire in place right now. Like, Darth Vader's not like sitting there going, all right, so you guys need to make Imperial credits now. We need to make sure that he's not doing that. The Emperor's just like, do my bidding. So it's probably Tarkin doing most of the work. So, I mean.
Yeah, Tarkin's handling all the logistics of the Empire.
Thank you. That's the word.
He's like the Kevin Feige of the new Empire. And Bob Iger is then the Emperor. And yeah. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the main heart of this episode is Fennec Shan chasing down Omega through this planet, while Tech is pretty much stuck changing the ships.
Doing what he does.
Yeah, being a tech head.
If there's a mission, we know what Tech is doing.
Yeah, exactly. And so this to me, this is my favorite episode since the first episode. I don't know about you guys. This episode was a lot of action. While still building the story, it was a lot more action with them, her chasing down Omega. Omega's kind of learning you can't just trust anyone. Like, you can't just literally someone come up to you, go, here, follow me. Okay. And just go off.
Yeah. And she just grabbed her hand right away.
Yeah. And so, I mean, Omega is still very impressionable at this point. She doesn't really have any life experience outside of Kamino. So for her to just trust someone, and then we see that I love when they sell Echo.
Yeah.
They're like,
that's pretty funny.
Yeah, here, this guy is, we'll get 3,000 credits. And he's just like, dude, what the hell?
I thought that was pretty funny. He's just like, I'm worth more than that,
Exactly.
Just for principle, he just wanted to, get the right price for him. That was pretty funny.
Yeah. So I love those droids too. The droids from the wear shop guy.
Yeah, I thought they were going to take them all with them.
So did I. I thought they would have at least taken one of them.
That would have been cool, just to have more. Here, kid, go play with the droids or something.
Hey, those little creatures that Omega interacted with, are those like the dogs of the Star Wars universe? Because they were like acting like dogs, which was
I mean, they were
cool,
barking and everything.
Yeah, they were barking is what it was.
Yeah. Also, I thought it was very interesting that she took a toy stormtrooper, very similar to the beginning of Rogue One, where Jin is a little kid, has that exact same type of.
This is probably the start of
good callback.
Stormtrooper action figures or dolls.
Right. So it's kind of like the early, like, look at we're good guys. Here's toys that you can play with of stormtroopers. And although I guess,
well, they probably here's what I'm thinking. They want kids to grow up idolizing stormtroopers and be like, I want to be a stormtrooper one day. So then they grow up and they enlist in the Empire.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. That 100% makes sense.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, this was probably the most straightforward episode. Like, there was basically only one thing going on throughout the whole time.
Yeah, they were like on one planet, just doing one thing. I like this one. I mean, obviously, I think we all agree the first one's the best. But other than that, I like this one. I like the one where they're interacting with the other clone trooper who ran away. And what was that episode? And it was about the chain codes. The one where they introduced the chain codes and they were trying to get them for that family. I liked that episode too.
Yeah.
But this one's pretty good. And like I said, I'm not going into them expecting to be blown away right now. You know, I think once we get into like the last 5 episodes, I expect it to finish super strong.
Oh, absolutely. Like, they're not going to do a filler, like, nonsense episodes the last couple. Like, it's for sure going to be, they're going to make sure this story ends or season ends where you're going to be wanting another.
Yeah. And I don't think we saw the last of Fennec Shan even in this season. We're going to see her again this season, I think.
Oh yeah. I'm surprised how early she came. To be completely honest, like,
yeah, it was pretty early.
We're on the 4th episode, and I knew she was coming before, like, because I saw and watched our trailer enough times.
I just didn't notice it. There's so much stuff in there.
Yeah, and she's wearing her mask. But yeah, so like I was expecting it, but I was thinking maybe like 8, 9, 10 around that time, not 4. Like that surprised me the most. So yeah, like I said, the episode was very one storyline chasing down Omega, or excuse me, Fennec chasing down Omega, and the Bad Batch saving her. Wrecker got wrecked by Fennec Shan.
Yeah, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way when I first saw it. But now that I know that, you know, she's the same chick from Mandalorian, I'm like, oh, okay. That kind of.
Yeah.
When he went at her, I was like, she's going to win this fight. And then it was just so easy.
Yeah, that wasn't even an issue. So to me, it almost kind of, when I saw that, I was like, okay, well, that kind of definitely humanized him a little bit more, that he's not just, because everything we've seen him do up until this point, he's like the Hulk, like, good luck stopping him. And she took him down without.
Well, yeah, she kind of used his momentum against him.
So exactly.
It just goes to show that those big tough guys can be defeated if you keep your cool and know how to parry. So
yeah. So but yeah, so the episode pretty much ends with Fennec with the, what do you call him? The spaceport
guy, the little wannabe hustler.
Yeah. I thought she was going to kill him for sure, but she's like, nope, here's some money. Call me if they return or something. And just walks away, and she just goes about her business, and the episode ends. So thoughts of the episode in total?
Well, first off, I like that she didn't kill the guy. She just instead, gave him a little something and said, hey, call me later. Like that feels like an experienced move right there by a professional, and we see here later on in Mandalorian, we know that to be true. So I enjoyed that. But as far as the episode, look, it's just at the end of the day, these shows are made for kids. So they're probably loving everything that they see. I mean, like really loving the Omega character.
I'm sure.
For myself, as a grown man, I sometimes get annoyed by some of the trouble that she gets herself in, and as a result, the Bad Batch in. But without her, we don't have these little adventures and, these little heartfelt moments, whatnot. So
Exactly.
the show kind of needs her, like she's definitely a draw for the kids. But Filoni, again, continues to find a way, not just Filoni, obviously the creators and writers, they find a way to give us a balance where, like in the first episode, it was pretty damn dark and pretty mature, but then you have this Omega kid coming along the way and just having that balance of kid friendly, total line to mature audiences. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I haven't seen one bad episode yet from this series.
Jacob?
Yeah, pretty much agree with you, Gio. It's like I'm not over the moon about this episode, but as far as what I expect from the beginning of the season, early episodes, I liked it, and I agree. Without Omega, it's like just the same old because they've seen everything. The Bad Batch, they've been around the galaxy, fought in the war, did all these missions, they've been to all these planets. When they were saying, "Oh, we need to go into hiding," she's like, "I spent my whole life on one planet. Like, I don't want to do that." And then they're going to a new planet that she's never been to. She's all excited. So I agree with you, Gio. She's definitely a window into the episodes for the kids, but like even as adults, we could appreciate that. Like without her, it wouldn't be the same, So I enjoy the episode, and I'm looking forward to the next one. Brian, you're muted. I don't know why.
There we go. Yeah. I mean, anyone else have anything else to say? I mean,
I think we're good. I mean, these episodes are so short, we don't need to stretch the conversation to an hour.
Yeah, no,
unless it's a big episode or something.
We don't.
Yeah, and like we said, this episode kind of just stayed on a chase.
Absolutely,
the
yeah.
whole time.
Well, I will ask because I obviously had no idea until I saw a headline. Do you guys anticipate anybody else showing up? Maybe not so obvious.
I mean, Rex is for sure going to show up.
I think one of the clones will definitely show up. So
yeah, I mean, they can do anybody, and the thing is, it's not live action, so it's like if it was live action, I would never predict us. I mean, maybe Ahsoka, but I wouldn't predict Obi-Wan in live action, right? But I could see Obi-Wan popping up in this because it's animated. We know Obi-Wan didn't stay on Tatooine the whole time, so it's very. What if he interacts with the Bad Batch at some point? But I don't think that's going to be this season. But if they do several seasons, I could see something like that. As far as this season goes, I think maybe Rex and Ahsoka are possible, to be honest.
I'm saying Rex for sure. Ahsoka,
she's less likely, absolutely, but
I
think it's possible.
Yeah, I don't know. It could be anyone. I feel like they would probably throw in maybe a bounty hunter.
Well, all right. So they have Fennec Shan, right? So I like the idea of characters we haven't seen in animation yet showing up, right? So she's one of them. I mean, I don't know what Moff Gideon was doing at the time, but like, where did he come from? Where did he start in the Empire? And obviously, if you do a young Moff Gideon, that could be pretty cool because he's, Giancarlo Esposito's age in 30, and this is 30 years prior or so. And so I could see like a young officer Moff Gideon.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, there's a handful that you could pull. I mean, I feel like you could maybe get Boba just a little bit more mature, like, because he was kind of a young teenager.
Yeah.
So maybe like early adult, maybe.
But
does he and Fennec, do you think they...
I mean, they meet at some point, right?
Yeah, they're going to become friends at some point. Whether or not it's
Maybe it was in The Mandalorian, though. We don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
I mean, they could just have like an early friendship and have met up again in Mandalorian, and we could see that. I mean, we do have Book of Boba Fett as the next live action thing, so I'm sure there's going to be at least some storytelling of Fennec into that.
I don't think they would do this, but here's the thing, though. It's actually possible, and it would make sense if we actually saw Grogu, to be honest. Like, he's alive right now somewhere, being held safe. However he escaped, the escaped Anakin killing him, basically. He's somewhere right now. And I don't know if that would make sense story-wise, because the Bad Batch, we don't know where they go or what happens to them after this, right? Yeah. So if they see Grogu, it doesn't take anything away from the characters seeing Grogu later on, So there's a ton of possibilities, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm going to disagree. I don't think we're going to see
No, I don't think so. I'm just saying it's like it works timeline-wise.
Oh, yeah, no. It's definitely a possibility. So,
but I think they're going to save that for something more like maybe live action.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But all right, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap it up for our episode of The Bad Batch Fandalorian, episode number 4. Come check us out next week when we do episode 5. And Gio, thank you for coming on, finally getting you on. And until next time, we'll see you guys later.